Tony, man, what's going on? I believe I heard from people that Andre Ward, who used to spar your father, he knew you were going to win that fight, man. What do you think it was about you and what he had seen in the gym and what you bring to the table that he saw that coming?
But like from what he's seeing in the gym, he just saw my pedigree, my work ethic, and he also sees how my dad pushes me. So he had no doubt in my mind that I was gonna be fully prepared for the fight.
Do you um do you think despite your upset of him that he's a pretty quality prospect in his own right? Like how much of it was people overestimating him because he was signed with Floyd and he had sparred a lot of big names, but how much of it really was just people not knowing about you, not being able to estimate your pedigree, your level?
I think it was I think it was more so them not knowing me. I don't have really a big name. Everybody know me about my dad really, or they just know my dad just in general. But they don't. I didn't have no big amateur pedigree, and I didn't really spar or be around all the top guys like that. So nobody is gonna really know, especially in Vegas and none of that.
Yeah, that was going to be my question about when you mentioned pedigree, because when you go to BoxRec, in BoxRec, they're not able to record a number of fighters' amateur fights, but I wasn't able to see any of the amateur fights. What was your background and pedigree as an amateur fighter?
I only had four amateur fights really. None of them were like no golden gloves or none of that though. It was just kind of like these regular amateur fights. But I was 2-2. Won my first two, lost my last two, and then I ended up moving with my mom for school and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I ended up stopping. And then when I came back, I just ended up going straight pro, which was around 2021.
Why didn't you have too much of an amateur career when you're the son of a pro who fought Demetrius Andrade and Francisco Chia Santana? A lot of notable professionals. Some even went on to be champions. He had rounds in the gym with Andre Ward. Like you would think that his son, who follows in and becomes a pro too, would have had a long amateur career. Why wasn't that so, Tony?
Like I said, when I moved with my mom for school, he was my trainer, and they was in two separate cities. So she was in Stockton or just in the Valley area, and that's like an hour away from Oakland. So when I moved out there, that's kind of when I just stopped training in general when we're doing other sports like football, basketball, track, and stuff like that.
So when you're doing football and basketball, how were you at those sports? But when kind of take me through the moment where you were like, nah, I'm gonna be a fighter.
Uh, I was okay at basketball. I was really just more so athletic. So and like fast, so I was able to do pretty good at football and track. And I feel like it was my freshman year of college when I noticed that I wasn't really getting a lot of the PT and like noticeability from coaches because they had already been around for so long. And when I did football, that was my first year of doing it. It was my senior year of high school, so I didn't really get that much playing time, no too much film for them to look at. So I wasn't really getting the looks that I wanted and getting the PT I wanted in my JUCO year freshman. So then I ended up dropping out, coming back to Oakland, and then went straight pro, start boxing again.
What was that moment like though, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna drop out and this is my path in life now. I'm gonna dedicate myself to being a professional boxer.
Um, just having my dad believe in me, just having him be there for me and show me through the ropes because he already been through all the tough times. Like he did everything the hard way, so he was able to show me like the good shit and the bad shit about it.
Yeah, because I actually had a similar moment my first year in college and didn't wind up graduating till I was like 30 because I went out of school for a few years because I'm like, wait a minute, this is I don't know, this is boring, this is regular. I got to do something in boxing. Like I can't. It was almost a panic. Like I don't know if I could do this. And so was it at all like that? You know what I mean? Like so now that because you had the four amateur fights and then you had some layoffs. You had those two draws early in your career, and after that first draw, you're out of the ring. I think 2.5 years, and then you come back to another draw. But then ever since then, you started getting busier and busier. You're having more fights per year as you've gone on. What was there a moment in there early in your career? Like what led to that layoff, and then what made you get more active and come back, leading all the way up until April when you upset Merriweather?
It was just a mental thing. I just needed to take a little time off. Um, when I came back, when I came back for the fight, the first fight right after the draw, it was like it was on a crazy last minute notice, like right after Thanksgiving. So I was hella full and not really doing too much training. So and it was like I said, it was like a week notice. So then we just ended up taking a fight, like fuck it, because we ain't been active in a hell long. So that's kind of how we got that fight. But then after that, I was like, but I don't really want too many like hella draws, and I definitely don't want no losses. So I was like, fuck it, we just gonna be active the whole year, just train the whole time, so we just stay ready. So I ain't got to get ready really.
How do you feel like confidence wise now? Like, do you, after this win, do you really have that belief now that you can make it happen at a high level in boxing? Or was that belief always there?
Yeah, I definitely do now. My dad, he always believed in me though, so I always had him in my ear, just being like, yeah, man, like seeing everything that you do, I know you can make it far, so just keep doing it.
Do you have memory? What were your memories of your dad sparring with Andre or even fighting when you were younger?
Uh, I went to like a few of his fights. Um, I think I went to one in New York, I believe, or Texas, and then I really remember the one when he fought Sean Estrada, uh, and then he got knocked down, but when he got up, he started picking it back up, and he made it a close fight, but Sean Estrada ended up edging it out. That was my I remember that fight a lot, but everything else, I didn't really go to too many fights, so I couldn't really like be there a lot and just like support him as much as I wanted to, except for the Texas fight. I think he had got a headbutt, or I think it was New York, but he had got a crazy headbutt, and they had to stop the fight, and I don't think he went to the scorecards after that.
When you would watch it, were you like, I want to do that? Or was it the opposite? Like, man, that looks like a rough way to make a living.
It was kind of like it was a rough way to make a living. I was kind of like more so scared for him. I didn't know if he gonna be hurt or not. But then as far as Andre was like, it was cool watching them spar because he was helping my dad get better a lot, and it was some brutal wars though. It was some brutal wars. Um, and my dad, he would take me to Andre. Like every time I would get in trouble with school, then he would like try to discipline me, try to help me, like just like don't be fighting in school and stuff like that. So it was cool, just chopping it up. But I was young though, so I don't remember everything. But it was cool talking to Dre a lot though.
So, oh, so Andre would actually like, give you pep talks, like, straighten out this kind of thing. Because I know Andre's been open about his story. He had his book about some of the things he did when he was younger and how he turned his life around with God and with boxing. And so, yeah, was it like he was being an uncle almost?
You can put it that way. Yeah.
Have you sparred some notable fighters and champions the last few years though?
Um, I believe some notable fighters. I don't. I sparred a champion, yeah, like one or two maybe. Angelo Leo.
Hmm. Yep. IBF featherweight champ. Yep.
Yeah, I think of one more. I can't remember though.
Did you, when was this? Was this heading into Merriweather or
Yeah, into Merriweather.
okay. Did you feel like from those sparring sessions I can have success at this level? I know you're a lightweight and Angelo's a featherweight. You're a little bit bigger than he is, but did those sparring sessions give you some confidence?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially like that was my last week of sparring too. So like doing good in those sparrings, it helped me get my confidence for that fight for sure.
Who are your favorite fighters to study in today's game?
To study, my dad put me on a lot of Dre fights, honestly. Like him versus damn, I can't remember. I know one of them was Saki Obika, but he got a lot of like fights for me to study, just like how tricky he was and knowing his distance and range, shit like that. So him, Floyd, of course. And then I'd probably say Loma, but his shit is just he do shit like people can't do. It's like,
Mhm.
his footwork is crazy.
You did you ever cross paths with Devin? Because I know Devin lived a lot of his time out here in Nevada, but Bill being from Oakland, going through the gyms in Oakland.
So I believe when when we was training, when I was still fighting amateur, we was training in Oakland. My dad said he came by the gym one time, but I don't know if I was there or if I just didn't see him or what. But that was probably the only time that we could have crossed paths. I don't remember seeing him that much myself, but I believe my dad had though.
No, I got you. Is there any fight you think about like, man, if I can keep winning, this is a fighter or a fight that, I would love to do one day in my career.
Um, Not really. I don't really just look at one specific fighter. It's just kind of like one step at a time.
Yeah. Do you see you and Robert ever having a rematch? Because the first fight was pretty good.
Yeah, possibly if it makes sense. Probably for a belt, but I mean, I proved myself against him,
Mhm.
and I came in. I feel like as the underdog. So yeah, if it makes sense, then yeah.
Yeah, not feel like you were the underdog. Like you said after the fight 1000 or minus 1000, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Plus 1,000. It was a minus 2,400 or 25.
So just what are the long-term goals? I know there's this the Zuffa belt thing and traditional titles and all that. And I'm not trying to put you in a bind about that as you just go fight to fight early in your career, but what are your long-term goals now as a fighter? Is it to be world champion, Zuffa champion? What is that?
Currently under contract with Zuffa, so I'll be Zuffa champion right now. Um, I don't know how Zuffa and all the other sanctioned bodies are gonna if they're gonna work together or not. So until then, it's just Zuffa champion.
Before you get out of here, just what was it like growing up in Oakland, man? There's been a lot of great fighters that have come out of there, and it's a place we've heard about a lot. What was that like coming out of Oakland, and what's it like? How important is for you to represent Oakland going forward as a fighter?
Um, it was cool. It was cool coming out of Oakland. I had like a lot of friends. Um, didn't really get to grow up with them as I wanted to, but I wanna represent the Bay just in general. I feel like we haven't really had that much notice or in NorCal in general, but I feel like we're starting to get that fire back. So I a few fighters, me, and there's plenty of other fighters coming up right now that's also doing great. Um, shit, even Amari Jones, he's doing
Amari Jones, yep,
so.
yep.
The Bay's coming back, especially in boxing. So I'm just keep doing my part and representing too.
To you, is there anything like that's a signature of being an Oakland fighter? Something like when people talk about fighters from Philadelphia, there's a certain, swagger and something that you expect. You have a certain expectation of a Philly fighter. Would you say what's the case with that with fighters from Oakland or the Bay Area?
Uh, I don't know. Have you heard anything?
Mm, I mean, I think of Nonito Donaire. I think of Andre. I kind of think of Devin too, even though he's from over there and from Nevada as well. And and I mean, they're all tough. They're all tough. Like, Devin Haney had a lot of heart in all his fights. Andre, a lot of heart, a lot of skill. Amari Jones and Nonito, power, and they're gritty. They're not afraid to exchange when they need to.
They really
So
are.
basically good qualities when I think of the top guys that come from Oakland. They got heart, they got skill, and some of them too had really good power, like Nonito. And so
Uh,
I don't know, kind of you showed that against Robert Merriweather. Like, okay, you were longer than him, you were out jabbing him, but you were also totally fine mixing it up in the pocket. Like just because I you have a skill set doesn't mean you're trying to get out of the kitchen. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say gritty, and you definitely got dog in.
you're not worried about that pocket.
Yeah. Nah. I'm comfortable in there.
Well, okay, and I know I said I let you get out of here, but uh, like take me through having the skill to be okay. I'm 5'10", I'm a lightweight. I'm usually gonna be taller. I have a good reach, but I'm gonna implement it and impose it in the pocket. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna box, but I'm not gonna necessarily need to pull out of range a whole lot. How are you, take me through that?
I feel like that was would have been fitting to his game plan. Um, so I mean, I knew he was a good boxer, so I just wanted to make it kind of rough. I didn't know how he fight in the inside. I ain't seen him fight in the inside, so I was trying to see how that would be for him, because I knew my strengths up in there. So that was my game plan, being able to get up in there on him.